Hello everyone, welcome to the fifth and last tutorial about DesiteMD. For the first page, there's another tutorial from my colleague Ms. Krishla. I'll start from the second page about preparing the model. So I'll open my Revit model. So I'll start with section 4.2, configuring the room occupancies. I'll switch to the floor plans, level 1 first. And then I'll start editing the occupancy parameter for each room. So for level 1, we have room 1 and as facilities. And then room 2 as open space. Then I'll move to level 2. And then room 3 is facilities. And rooms 4 to 7 are office. So I'll just select them. And use the control key to select multiple elements. So 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll change the occupancy to office. Then the last one, room 8, is an open space. Then I'll click apply. Then I'll continue with section 4.3. I'll add the parameter activity group. So I'll go to manage, and then you'll find project parameters. I'll remove any parameters existing here, so I'll just remove it. Click yes, and then click on add, and I'll add the parameter activity group. And it would be of discipline common. Type of the parameter is text, and the group parameter should be set on the phasing. So I'll switch it to phasing and select the filter list for architecture, which is selected here. And then select all categories. So I'll just click on check all, and then click OK. Now the parameter is added here, so I'll click OK. And if you select any element here, you'll find a new parameter is added under the phasing here, which is activity group that was created. So I'll start by setting the parameter activity group for the foundations. I'll move to the elevations. It's easier from the elevations. Any view should work. And then just use a window selection for the footings and filter only the structural foundations. For the isolated footings, I'll set the parameter to foundations underscore L1. So I'll move down there, and then type the parameter. And then click apply. Then I'll set the activity group parameter for the foundation slab at level 1. So I'll switch the window selection again. And this time I'll just select the slab. So filter, and then I'll select the floors, which is only one. Click OK. And then I'll rename it to floors underscore L1. And click apply. I'll then select the second floor. And then I can just use the filter. So check none and then check floors. And I'll set the parameter to floors underscore L2. And click apply. Same for the third slab. Then I'll move on to the columns. I'll do the same thing. So columns between level 1 and level 2. I'll select the filter and then just check none and select only structural columns. I'll set the parameter to columns underscore L1. And select apply. The same for the second level. And then I'll set the parameters to columns underscore L2 and select apply. Next, I'll set the parameters for the beams at level 1 and level 2. So I'll select the beams and filter out the slab. Select OK. And then rename it to beams underscore L1. The same for the second level. Then to be beams at L2. Then I'll set the parameter for the exterior walls at level 1 and level 2. So again, I'll have to select the walls first. I'll use the filter, check none, and then just select the walls and click OK. Then I'll move to level 1. Then I'll set the parameter to ext walls underscore L1. And select apply. I'll do the same for level 2. So I'll switch to level 2. Select all elements and then check none and then select only the wounds. And then I'll do another selection to subtract the interior walls. This time by doing a selection from right to left. And then I'll rename it to ext walls underscore L2. You just select the first one and then change the number at the very end to L2 and then select apply. Then I'll move on to the interior walls. And then I'll just change the parameter to int. And then click apply. For the second level, I'll switch back to level 2. And this time I'll do another window selection. And use the filter to select only the walls. And then I'll rename it to interior walls at level 2. and select apply. I'll set the parameter for the curtain walls, so I'll return back to level 1 and select them. I'll just check again to make sure I have them all. So yes, I'll click OK, and then I'll type the parameter curtain walls underscore L1 and click apply. Then the stairs, so I'll select the stairs and I'll set the activity group to stairs L2. And click apply. Then I'll need to set the parameter for the windows at level 1 and 2. So I'll do another window selection and then filter the windows, check none, and then just select windows and click OK. The same for the second level. And select apply. Then I'll set the parameters for the doors at level 1 and 2. So I'll do the second level first. I'll do another filter and then just check none and select only the doors. Click OK. And then I'll just rename and then I'll type doors underscore L2. Click apply and switch back to level 1. Then type doors L1 and click apply. Then the ratings for L1 and L2. So I'll return back to level 2. Then I'll do a window selection for the staircase. Then select the filter, check none, and select only the ratings. You'll notice we have 3 elements for the ratings. And then I'll click OK. And then I'll change the activity group. I'll fill it with the ratings at L2. So then click apply. If I move back to level 1 and do another window selection, select the filter, then we notice we have only 2 elements, so 1 is missing. And then I'll check none, select it and click OK. We'll notice we have it already filled as rating for level 2. That's because there is a shaft that's cutting to the slab in the middle at level 2. So when we select from level 2, we're actually selecting everything for level 1 and 2. But since we're at the lower levels, so we will only select those from the previous selection. And then we can just change it to L1. And click apply. So now that we're done, I'll switch to the 3D view. Then I'll export the project into IFC. So under the File tab, you'll find Export and then IFC. I'll save it to the desktop, but you can change the path from here under Browse. And then I'll modify the setup for the exporting. I'll switch to the Property Sets tab and then select Export Revit Property Sets as well. And then select OK. And then I'll select Export. Now it's done, so you can check on the desktop and you'll see the file here. You can check the file size just to make sure it has exported everything. You can open it with an IFC viewer to make sure the model is already exported properly. But if the file is too small, then you have to make sure that the export layers settings are set properly. And then under the File tab, you select Export again, but then this time you scroll down to the very last option, which is Options, and then select IFC Options, and then make sure the settings are set to Standard, so you can just select Standard, and then click OK. Now you can restart exporting the IFC file and then hopefully it will be exported properly. Now I'll close Revit and switch to DesiteMD. To open the IFC project we've just exported, I'll open the application menu and select Add Document 3D Model. I'll navigate to the desktop and open the file I've already saved. And then I'll click Open. So it'll take a few seconds. Now I have a model here. So in the project structure, you'll find all the elements exported at level 1, 2, and 3. You can just select the very first layer and then just open the whole tree. I'll turn on the visibility for the activity group project parameter. So here under the configure columns, I'll select configure columns and then filter the properties for activity group. I can just search for it. When I find it, I'll just check it and it should be added here. Then I'll close and you see the column has been added here. So to create a selection set for the activity groups, I'll just click on the Create Smart Selection Sets. From here, I'll select Create as Smart Set for the activity group phasing. Then I'll select Create, Building, then Sets. Now you have the Selection Sets window with all the elements for the activity groups we've just filled a little while ago. So now we'll try to create the schedule for all the tasks we have for the activity groups here. The layout of the schedule is mentioned in page 12. So first I'll start by selecting the green plus here and select Create Time Schedule. Then I'll start adding the tasks one by one, but then I need to add the start and finish dates and the connection to the activities, so predecessors. So I'll select the configure columns and add the missing columns first. So I'll select start, then finish, and I'll add the predecessor. And then close. Now we have the 3 columns that we need. So I'll select the green plus again, add items, and then create task. For the first one, I have the shell, and then I'll select again on the model, and then I'll add the finishes. So create task, and then I'll rename it again to finishes. Under the shell, we have the foundations. So I'll select again the green plus, and then select create task. New subtask will show up. Then I can just add the foundations underscore L1 here by double clicking on it. And then I'll select shell again and then add new task. I'll name it level 1. And then another one for level 2. And the last one for level 3. I'll start by the columns for level 1. I'll continue on with level 2. And the last item at level 2 is the external walls. I'll move on to level 3, and then we have the floors at level 3. For the finishes, again we have level 1 and level 2. Under level 1 we have 5 categories. So I'll add them one by one. Mm, mm, I'll move on to the second level. And then we have the ratings, the internal walls, the windows, and the doors. So I'll name it ratings underscore L2. And then internal wheels underscore L2. Windows for the second level underscore L2 as well. And the last one is doors underscore L2. I'll start adding the start and finishing dates for the tasks. For that, I'll just double click on each subtask and then give it the date I want. So I'll start by just typing 0805-2019 and then type enter. For the finish, I'll set it at 14th May 2019. I'll continue with columns at level 1. I'll move on to the second level for the shell. For the floors at level 3, continue with the 10th August 2019 till the 16th. Then I move on to the curtain walls at level 1 for the finishes. And then the doors. I'll add the attributes for the last level for the start and finish. I'll add the predecessors. So for the first task, of course, there's no predecessor since it's the first. Then from here, it would be the first one. So finish to start 1.1.1. then I'll save the DesiteMD project in a new folder. I'll select Save Project As on the desktop. I'll give it a new name for the folder, DesiteMD tutorial. Then I'll open it. And then I'll give it the tutorial. And click Save. Now that the model is saved, I'll continue with the selection sets. So I'll delete the empty sets from here. I'll just select them and just remove them and select yes. Now I'll attach the elements from the model to the tasks that match them. You can just, we'll start with the foundations. So click on it and then select objects only, include contained items, or use the shortcut Alt hash, which is what I'm going to use. So for the first time, I'll just use menu, and then you'll see they've turned yellow and they have the same number 16 as here in the list. And then you can go to the schedule here and then right click on it and then add selected objects to tasks. And then you'll see now the task is attached to 16 elements from the model. I'll do the same for the rest. Again, I'll just type Alt hash. And then now the columns will turn yellow to be selected. And then just add selected objects. I'll save the project and close. To view the 4D video, I'll just turn on the toggle simulation and then play the video. I'll move on to section 9, creating color schemes. So again, I'll go to the project icon here to open the project structure window, and I'll minimize the selection sets a bit. To add a small selection set, I'll just go again to configure columns and then select configure columns. I'll remove the activity group by just clicking on the arrow here and add the project parameter occupancy. So I'll select it and then select close. Now we see it's available here. So again, I'll create a small selection set for the parameter occupancy and then select create. Now we see that there is another mod set here selected. So I'll expand it and I'll delete the empty elements from here. So I'll just remove them and select yes. And then I'll select the occupancy, right click, and then isolate objects, include contained elements. To assign them different colors, I'll select the edit set tools here and then select create color scheme. And now you can see they have different colors for the facilities, office, and open space. To set the view back to the normal, so I'll return to view, I'll turn off the simulation and then reset it. I'll continue with section 10, linking data with model objects. So I'll need to connect the model to a default database. For that, I'll go back to the application menu and then select Database Cloud. Make sure the drop-down menu selection is set to SQLite, and then I'll connect to the default database. Now that we're connected to the default database, I'll close the application menu and then head to navigation. I'll first navigate to the main door and then select the button select and then select the door. I'll navigate to the data tab. From here, I'll select the object icon and then select update object data. Here we'll find all the properties of the door. If you want to add external link to a file with additional data, then I'll click on the database icon here and then select date. Then I'll click on the green icon here, add property, and then add the name for the property I need, which is additional information. And it would be of type URI and inheritable. Then I'll select create property. And here I can add the URI for the path for the file at the value. So I'll open my folder where I saved the file. And then I'll right click on the file here, the text file, select properties, then copy the path from here. I'll type Ctrl C, and then return back. And then here, in the values, I'll paste it. So I'll type Ctrl V, and then click update. If I hover over the door here and then type I, we'll see the link is available here as well. And if I switch back to the object window and then select update object data, then the link is available here as well. And if I try to click it, it will open the file here. that contains additional information.